Most of the time, that's not even the case. Nobody, these people, they don't know you. So how is they shooting a shot at you if they don't know you? How are you taking offense of a person that doesn't know you? And at a concert, when you up there, this guy is giving that full energy out. He's just blurting out stuff, this, that, and the third. Now, I'm going to go into, because we're talking about how heterosexuals feel. I'm going to play this other clip. It's from Lil Boosie. And this is how he felt.
If he taking it too far, go on IG, nigga. Get the hey, trying to put that shit on all them churn. Go viral, go on IG, bitch. That say he'll get naked for charity. And y'all talking about DaBaby. This man say he won't get naked for charity in front of all these insurance. Disrespectful like a motherfucker. Nas X. You a bitch. Go suck a on live. Go on turn out. Go get about the other rappers in the game who like booty. Go get on TV. Put a one out, bitch.
Hey, that's how the man feel. Yeah, and it's a lot of people feel like that because honestly, this is what I feel. I feel like you're fighting a fight to be as flamboyant and as out there as possible. And you want people that it offends to accept you. But now, the devil said, when you offend somebody, it's like, we're not offending you, we're just being us. No, it doesn't work like that. You actually are offending people. And it's not you just being, you offend, just like you say we heterosexuals offend you or somebody offends you with something they say, but the acts and stuff you do offend people too. But if they say something, now they're the ones is getting put up on the cross because they said something with a little pushback. Now they get put up on the cross, and that's not fair. And you're trying to fight for fairness, and you're trying to piggyback. Come on, I know your little game. You're trying to piggyback off a lot of other things. You're trying to piggyback off of Black Lives Matter, or maybe Black Lives Matter. You know, it was gay people that started Black Lives Matter. Maybe they felt like, hey, we had to do Black Lives Matter to get the attention, and we slide our agenda up in there. We slide our agenda, the real agenda up in there. You know, does Black Lives really matter to the people that started? Or was it LGBTQ plus that's really mattering? There's a lot of stuff for us to start thinking about out here as people, because do what you do. Do what you do. But stop acting like y'all are untouchable. That's the problem I have. I don't have a problem with what you do. But now you putting people into a corner. And when people get backed into a corner, they're gonna fight. They're gonna fight back and push back. Because you're causing a bigger problem than what it really is. With all of this that you're doing. Every time somebody says like, oh, it's an attack on the gay community, the gay community. Motherfuckers gonna get tired of hearing that. You got people, because you talking about centuries of history of, I'm gonna say, regular living of male, female. Then within the 1 to 2 years, you want to change all the genders, add all these extra genders from centuries, from the beginning of time. Now you want to just change up everything and act like everybody's supposed to just be receptive to all this, So that right there, that's a big no-go in my book. And it's like, if you don't like what I'm saying, you don't have to listen to the podcast. That's another thing. You don't got to protest me. You cannot listen. Like, hey, I don't like what Rick's song be saying. It turns you off. It's podcasts I listen to. I may try it one time and my cup of tea. You turn it off. But stop whining. Stop fucking whining.
Uh-oh. Stop your whining. Shut your yap.
Yeah, man.
So, another one. Boosie. Mad ignorant. Mad Bama, he's from Chi with it. I'm from Chicago, and shout out to the Chi. Mad love for all my Chicago folks, family, friends, and everybody. But again, this is a heterosexual man, alpha male, so to speak, ultimately very masculine. This nigga was getting his baby a fucking hooker for his birthday. So you already know where his mind is with that. So it's, again, why are you putting all of this demand on the masculine male that he has to submit and accept and be all accepting of something that's not his thing. And I'll tell you straight up, this is facts on facts. Pose is one of my all-time favorite shows. It is. It helped me learn. It also it showed me, first of all, I grew up in the 80s and 90s. And I grew up in the Lower East Side. I have been to some of the exact balls that they talked about in Pose and everything. And the thing is that it's just like with the Sports Illustrated cover. Layla Bloom, the transgender model who was on the cover. So it's not a bad thing. It's not a good thing. But you're telling me that all the other born women, just like in the pageant, a transgender won Miss America or Miss Universe or whatever it was. So all of these women who have been for their whole lives practicing, studying, putting in the work to be in these pageants, to be models and all this stuff. And then some guy just says, I identify as a woman. And the next thing you know, it's girls like us can't do this and that. So, and again, that's not a problem. But the thing is, you can't not expect pushback. Yes, just like Lil Nas X has every right to push back on DaBaby. But why? It wasn't about you. It had nothing to do with you. It was actually T.I. who pulled you into this. So if you had any beef at all, it should have gone to him for putting you in something that had nothing to do with you. And why are you expecting heterosexual men to they have to accept this and they have to do this and they have to acquiesce to, yes, shit changes and shit goes on, but nobody has to like you. Nobody has to put up with you. Nobody has to like me. Nobody has to like this podcast. Nobody has to like Rick. You do what you feel. And if something doesn't resonate with you or something is not for you, guess what? That's okay. It's okay. Like y'all niggas be saying now, let's normalize. Well, let's normalize men not having to submit to whatever they don't want to. I'm okay with that. I'm not okay with transgenders running female sports, taking the covers from women, taking over beauty pageants and all these things that women have been studying for their whole lives or whatever. I'm not for canceling DaBaby. He has a right to feel the way that he does. I'm not for, I don't agree with Lil Nas X. I don't. Because if I had a small child and they were up late at night with me, I would not want my little girl or little boy to see Lil Nas X with a ripped crotch slapping down his backup dancer. That would not be something that I would want to expose my 5-year-old to. And it's not something I have to do. But if it's there and you keep forcing it on kids and you keep showing it and saying this is what it is and this is what it has to be, your kids are not going to be with you 24/7. So they're going to get exposed to things without your permission anyway. And I'm not okay with that. I'm not okay with certain things being just normalized because enough people are saying that that's the way it has to be. And it's not even that it's enough people. Enough people have organized and put pressure on leaders, politicians, et cetera, to get their way. When Black people mobilize and organize and put pressure on politicians to get their way, you know what we get told? We don't want to rush to conclusions. When Asian people go to politicians and say they need this and that done, they get it done. So, no. Heterosexual men and people who don't resonate or correlate or whatever you want to call it with homosexuality don't have to. You don't have to. Phobia. It's not a phobia. It just means it's something that's not for you. And guess what? Let's normalize that.
And that's where we at right now. That's like 100% true because it's like nobody's saying nothing about Lil Nas X tweeting out him and Jack Harlow are going to perform their song at the MTV Music Awards naked for charity. And why would you want to perform naked for charity? And would they really allow that? Because at this point, I really think they will allow that because they're just pandering to the whole gay community. Like who want to see that? And it's like it's a million channels on cable. What happened? Why everything got to cross over there? Like Yeah, I used to be flipping channels and seeing RuPaul's Drag Race. Not interested. Keep it clicking. Keep the channels clicking. It's always been stuff like that there. But now it's like all of a sudden it's got to be in the mainstream. Like why? What is the agenda? Why does it have to be in the mainstream all the time? You know, like it's always been Queer Eye for the straight guy. Not interested. You know, like keep it clicking. You know, keep the channels moving. But there's a group of people that are interested for it. It's called a target audience. I'm not your target. You know, so you're gonna miss me all the time. So, you know, I don't know. Like this shit is just getting real wacky out here, and you know, they it's like a let's allow this, but don't allow that. Like it's always been. You know, we can allow all these things that we can see on television, but a guy says something in a heated moment of a concert, and y'all want to cancel him, have him. He got to retract statements, which he didn't. I'm glad he stood his ground. I'm glad other men are standing up for him. Let's normalize men being men and standing up for what they believe. Like, yo, I stand up. Like, motherfucker, you're a man. You got balls. And you got a cock. Yo, you know what I'm saying? Like, keep it a fucking 100. You got balls and a cock. Be a fucking man. We ain't with that shit. We ain't with a motherfucker with balls and a cock trying to be a woman. Fuck that. And I hope this shit go viral because I don't give a fuck. That's how I feel. That's right. If you got fucking balls in a cock, you a fucking man. Hold your motherfucking balls and be a goddamn man. You know, fuck that shit. You got balls in a cock and you gonna put your cock between your legs and be a woman. Nah, motherfucker, you was born a man. Fuck that.
Are you trying to make niggas look like the dude from Silence of the Lambs with the tuck in? Damn.
Exactly.
Damn.
Exactly.
Look, all we saying is that, yo, one, it's okay to be gay. No one cares for the most part. Two, it's okay to be heterosexual. No one cares for the most part. What we're not going to do is equate the LGBTQIA plus community, equating their struggle to a black person, you know, the black struggle, because it's not one and the same.
Any other civil rights struggle, at any rate.
It's not one and the same.
Black, you're Puerto Rican, you're white. If you got to struggle, if you got to struggle, I don't care if you're black, you're Puerto Rican, you're white. If you got to struggle, I don't care. I don't think the LGBT, this gay movement is as important as that. Because we got other things to be fighting for. It's like this gender equality and all of this. It's just going too far. It's just going too far. Everybody got to be politically correct when they speak on it. No.
All these so-called hurt feelings done drawn out. Amber Rose, who tried to say she's an activist first. And it's like, nigga, where? You was a stripper first, a groupie second, and a half-assed activist doing a slut walk, which is not for activism for women's rights. That is not women's empowerment. Call us old, whatever. Kanye West put you on, and that's why we know who you are. Two, T.I. with his dictionary vocabulary, throwing Lil Nas X into the mix, which then bought out the king himself, Elton John, to condemn DaBaby. I'm not condemning DaBaby. I'm really not. I don't even know much about the brother. I really don't. But this whole thing just showed you that common sense flies out the window when a black man specifically says something that the so-called alphabet community is not going to agree with. And yes, we're probably going to get all kinds of feedback on the negative side for being so-called homophobic. I don't care because I'm not scared of gay people at all. Exactly. I'm really not. I'm not afraid of them. I don't have a fear of them. I'm not afraid of becoming gay. Just like Rick said, if you got a dang-a-lang in balls, that's how I roll. Like they said, strictly dickly. So you could say homophobic all you want. I'm not. With that being said, bought out all these celebrities who are pro and con DaBaby, but where was the common sense? One, he never specified anyone. And like another celebrity pointed out, again, AIDS and HIV is not exclusive to homosexuality. It's just not. It's nowhere was Lil Nas X mentioned. And again, performing naked for charity. What charity